according to Microsoft, Halo Infinite is basically Halo 6. And that's cool. I'm glad that that's happening. I'm glad that they're going to continue the story. They're going to try and salvage something from Halo 5. But as a longtime fan of the series, and you can't see because I've got all my amiibo and stuff in front of it, but I have been playing Halo since the first game, since the original Xbox. I didn't have an original Xbox. I didn't get an Xbox product until the Xbox 360. But I went and bought Halo 1 and 2, and I got Halo 3 and ODST and Reach, and I love all those games. I even got Halo 4, and Halo 4 is not a terrible game, but I love Reach and back, and I love Reach is my favorite game. I know that a lot of people didn't care for Reach a whole lot, but as far as the campaign goes, Reach is my favorite game, and then ODST is my second favorite game. Those two games have something in common with each other outside of just being Halo. They're the only two games in the series where you don't play as Master Chief. Master Chief is a big part of both of these games. ODST happens during the after the Covenant, I think it's called a Corvette, goes into slip space and basically destroys New Mambosa, and so you've got the aftermath of that, and it's great. It's a great piece. You feel helpless as you're fighting these enemies that are just way stronger than you, and it's a fantastic game. I love it. I love the story. I love the characters that it introduces, and that's one of the things I like about Reach. Reach is a game about these other characters. It's about expanding the Halo universe. It's about bringing in more than just the Master Chief versus the Covenant, which is a big part. It's a great part. It's an awesome part. I love that story that Bungie was telling. I have the blinds closed on this window, and it's just blasting me. It's about expanding this universe that Halo 1, 2, and 3 built around this idea that there's this religious cult that's out there, and they're basically going to eliminate every living thing in order to defeat this thing called the Flood. I love that ODST expanded on that. It showed that this world is bigger than just that. There's more going on that adds to this already incredible and deep story, and Reach did that too. So when Halo 3 ends, and I'm sorry if you haven't finished Halo 3 and you're worried about spoilers, the game is old enough now that you should know. When Halo 3 ends, Chief doesn't make it. Not really. He's still alive, but he winds up marooned on this hunk of a spaceship that's just floating out in space. And I thought this is a really great send-off to this character. His story has ended. He has accomplished his purpose in this universe that Bungie created, and it's a beautiful way for him to go off and to be at peace after all this time of warring with the Covenant. And so then ODST comes out, and it's not about Chief, it's about expanding the universe, and Reach comes out, it's about expanding the universe. But then at an E3, Microsoft shows this trailer for a new Halo game, and it's got Master Chief in it. It's Halo 4, and he comes out, and why? He's done. His story is beautifully wrapped up and ended, and it's heroic and legendary, and you're bringing him back. And I didn't get it, but I went ahead and got the game, because of course I got the game. I'm a Halo fan. I love Halo. And I play it, and I'm like, it's not nearly as good as the other Halos, but it's okay. It's trying way too hard to be Call of Duty. It introduced loadouts, and it expanded on probably my least favorite part of Reach. And I think this was in Halo 3. You'll have to. It's been a while since I played that game, so you'll have to forgive me for not just knowing off the top of my head. But they have those armor abilities, and it's just it kind of changed how Halo was played. Halo, the first Halo, especially compared to games like Titanfall, is very slow, very methodical, very everything's very intentional, and it's about more of, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of twitch shooting and just running into a room, but you're this kind of hulking tank that can't move very fast. So it's more about being in the right position to not be shot at in the first place, and getting a strategic point in the room rather than just running in and shooting everything. And you can certainly just run in and shoot everything. That's part of the game, but you can't, like, if you find yourself in a pickle, the odds that you're going to be able to run away from a bad situation are not real good. And so Halo Reach and 3 tried to, like, they added these armor abilities where you've got this block, or you can sprint and stuff, and it changed the way the game played. And even though Reach is my favorite campaign story-wise and even gameplay-wise, I really like it. That was one area about it that I didn't like. And Halo 4 really expanded on making Master Chief more mobile, more agile. And I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I could have lived with it. One thing I didn't like about it was the story. At the end of Halo 3, Chief is gone. The elites have risen to power in the Covenant, and they've turned on the Covenant, and they sign a peace treaty with the UNSC. And then Halo 4 comes around, and here's all these grunts that, by the way, don't speak English. Even though that was something about the Covenant before. They all spoke English. And maybe that was silly. Maybe it was just a way for them to be able to communicate with the player without having to have subtitles. I don't know, but it was a thing. And in this version of the Halo, the grunts and the elites, they're all still there. They're all still fighting, and they're fighting with the UNSC for some reason, even though the war is over. Essentially, they don't speak English, and they're like some rogue faction of the Covenant, and it felt so forced. It felt like 343 wanted to come in and just use what Bungie already had, even though Bungie had kind of wrapped that up in a nice little bow, and they didn't take the time to expand it on the universe. Make it happen before Halo 3. Make it happen, some other part. Make it not have Master Chief. Do what Reach and ODST did so well, was make this world bigger. And so the Covenant's still there, and the game doesn't do a whole lot to try and make that make a whole lot of sense. It's kind of just an afterthought. Like, well, of course the Covenant are here. Like, that's what this game is about. But then they also introduce the Forerunners and these robot things, and I know they have a name. But I didn't care for them either. They felt so uninspired. And now, a lot of what felt so uninspiring about them was, at this time, some key members of Retro Studios, who made the amazing Metroid Prime trilogy, were now working at 343 Industries. And you can tell, like, it shows in the art direction and the sound design. It sounds very much like Metroid Prime. There's very deep and dark purples. The very clean lines, and just the alien technology is just, go play any one of the Metroid Prime games and then go play Halo 4 and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's all over the design of Halo 4, except for the Metroidvania part of the game, which is fine. I don't want Halo to be a Metroidvania. I have Metroid for that. I have other really great indie games to be Metroidvanias. I don't need Halo to also be a Metroidvania. In fact, I would not like Halo as a Metroidvania. And so it was weird, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense, but the game itself wasn't a bad game. So I played it. I actually played a lot of it, and I enjoyed it for the most part. And then Halo 5 comes out. Halo 5 was going to be big, and they put all this money into the advertising, and there's this new character, and I'm like, oh, we're going to expand these characters. This is great. They're expanding the universe, and the game just starts, and Master Chief is being pursued by this other team of Spartans, and there's no explanation for this in the game whatsoever. None. Now, there's a lot of people out there who get really into lore, and while I'm big into the Halo lore, like, I like what's in the games. I'm not going to go read a book. I'm not going to go read a bunch of stuff on a website to kind of get this. I did listen to Hunt the Truth, the podcast. That was fun. But to be honest with you, that didn't really help fill in much of the holes, because even that just kind of starts without any real setup. It's just, I don't know. It's almost as if Microsoft and 343 Industries just kind of expected me to just, oh, of course Master Chief is being pursued as a criminal. Why wouldn't he be? Like that it made no sense. And it felt so forced, and there's these other characters, and they don't explain where they came from, and I could be getting my Halo lore a little bit wrong, but to my knowledge, at the end of Reach, when the Covenant basically have taken over every human civilization except for Earth, the Spartan program was in shambles. Master Chief was really the last one of them. And then in Halo 5, there's these other Spartans. Where did they come from? Who are they? And it makes no sense. And I know there's somebody out here watching this video right now who's going to be like, oh my gosh, this guy calls himself a Halo fan, and he doesn't even know where these people came from. And I get it. You're going to say that. And I'm not making the argument that there's not an explanation for it out there somewhere. I'm making the argument that the explanation does not exist where it should, which is in the game. There are so many people like myself who love this series, but what I love is the games. I liked Forward Unto Dawn, the Netflix, it wasn't a Netflix show, the web show, well enough. It was fine. I'm not interested in reading a bunch of books about this. I'm not interested in poring over the little terminals that are in there. You know, I'm interested in the game as it unfolds, as I'm playing it. And I think, honestly, that's the way that most people enjoy their games. Yes, there are people out there who will spend hours upon hours upon hours reading stuff about the Elder Scrolls. There are people who will spend hours upon hours upon hours reading stuff about Hyrule, who are reading stuff about these worlds. The people who are like that are probably really into Destiny, because Destiny doesn't do anything to tell you what this game is about inside the game. But you've got to make the story followable enough inside the context of the game for it to make sense, and it just didn't. It didn't make any sense, and that's something that Marvel actually is doing really, really well. You can watch the Marvel movies and not have ever read a single Marvel comic, and there's a story there for you to follow, and it makes sense, and it's cohesive, and the comics are the same way. You can read all those comics and never go see a Marvel movie, and you're fine. And I'm sure that the movies probably reference the comic books in ways that only comic book fans are going to notice, and the comics are probably going to reference the movies in ways that only people who've seen the movies are going to notice, and that's all fine, but it's not required to consume these other products. And I think that was the mistake that Microsoft made with Halo 5. So how did I get into this? I started out talking about how Halo Infinite is going to be Halo 6, and I'm bringing that up because Halo 5 was such a disappointment to me that I'm not pre-ordering this game. In fact, Halo was the primary reason that I played Xbox. I have a lot of Xbox games back here. I've got Assassin's Creed games. I've got the Arkham games. I've got, the Gears of War games. I've got a lot of games back here that are for my Xbox 360. I've got Grand Theft Auto 5. I've got Catherine. I've got a lot of games. But the games that kept me coming back to the Xbox were always Halo. Halo was the reason I bought an Xbox One. Halo was the reason that I was excited about getting my Xbox 360. Halo was the reason that every time one of my Xbox 360s died, I went and made sure I had a new one. Whether it was Microsoft replacing it because it fell under the Red Ring of Death warranty, or I had to go purchase another one, I made sure I had a working 360, and Halo was always the reason. If it wouldn't have been for Halo, I probably would not have cared to have gotten those fixed. If it were not for my excitement over what Halo was going to be on the Xbox One, I would not have bought an Xbox One. And that is evidenced by the fact that even though I still have my Xbox One and it's still hooked up out there, it is a Netflix box. That is what that thing does for me now, because Halo 5 was such a bummer. And Halo Master Chief Collection, that's just from a technical standpoint, they botched that so bad, and it should have been amazing. This was, hey, we're going to put every Halo game, and then including ODST, because we want to apologize for how bad it was, on this, we're going to give it to you, and it's going to be on Xbox One, it's going to work, and you're going to have live support, and it's going to be awesome. And they butchered it, and no other company has really done that. I mean, yeah, Nintendo puts out their Mario All-Stars where they've, Mario 1, 2, 3, and Mario World, and then Lost Levels, and they do some Kirby compilations. But the Master Chief Collection was as if, imagine Nintendo was like, okay, every mainline Mario game is going to be on the Switch on this one little cartridge. You're going to have Mario 1 through 3, and then Mario World, and then we're going to go ahead and throw in Yoshi's Island, even though it's more of a spin-off, and Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine and both Mario Galaxies, and you know what the heck, let's go ahead and give you Mario Odyssey, and just for good measure, Mario RPG is going to be downloadable if you want that. That's what this was like. It had never been done before, and it was this big thing, and they butchered it. What I'm getting at here is I don't trust 343 Industries to care for the Halo franchise the way that Bungie did. Maybe that's not being fair, because I understand that there are a lot of people from Bungie who left Bungie when they went to go make Destiny and are now working with 343 Industries, and so maybe I'm being unfair, but their record of handling Halo is not a good one. Halo 4 was, I mean, I get it. Halo 4 was their first game that they did Halo by themselves, and they wanted to kind of put their own imprint on it, and I totally understand that. Make it your own. But Halo 5 was just, it was a mess, and Microsoft has not shown me that they actually understand what was wrong with Halo 5. Halo 5, its real problem wasn't a lack of Master Chief. Reach and ODST were fantastic games, and you cannot play as Master Chief in either one of those, I guess except in the multiplayer. Halo 5's problem was it was trying to not be Halo. It was trying to be a little too much Call of Duty and Gears of War kind of mixed into one. And I like the character Master Chief. I'm not super excited about how they've kind of his story arc since the end of 3. I'm not like upset that the character is back and being used in the spotlight. But every time Microsoft talks about what was wrong, what went wrong with Halo 5, they never mention the gameplay. They never mention the changes that they made to Halo and to the series. They never mentioned the fact that the story made no flipping sense whatsoever. They always talk about people just wanted more Master Chief. Like if we'd have just made the game nothing but Master Chief and his crew, everybody would have been fine. No. You still would have made me, have to switch between all these characters and keep them alive, and that's not what I want. That's not what I care about. I make Halo Halo. Make Halo great again. If I ever decide to pick up Xbox Game Pass, I'll have it. It'll be part of the service, and I'll play it, and I'll see what it's all about. I do want to check it out and maybe even like do a little review of it, but just to be super real, I can't get excited for it, and it's not because I don't still love the Halo franchise. It's because I just don't trust that 343 Industries and Microsoft know what made Halo work and know how to make it keep working. That's my issue. So let me know what your thoughts are. Maybe you disagree with me. Go ahead and let me know down here. Tell me like I'm a Halo hater and I have no business calling myself a fan. Maybe you agree with me. Maybe you're in the same boat. Maybe you're like 343i just hasn't shown me that they know what they're doing, and I'm going to wait this one out and see how it goes. I want to know. Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, don't forget to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Please subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this enough to keep coming back and maybe share it with your friends and family. Thanks, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. I love you so much. Have a good one.